have to talk some more after all this?
Well, a little bit. First I want to just say, and this is something that one of the subjects said, and I just want to thank you for this beautiful transmission of Jewish and Yiddish culture. I think we all got a real dose of it. Also in the film, there's this line about to create is to connect. And I think you have an audience that really connected with this film. So congratulations. So I'm curious, this is the world premiere. You have not seen it with an audience. Tell us what the experience has been like.
Well, it evoked the laughter where I thought it would. It also evoked some emotion, maybe a tear. I kept on saying this all my life when I created characters, that there has to be a tear in the midst of laughter, and even joy in the midst of suffering. It's a mixture. We have somehow been transmitted by our ancestors this mixture of crying and laughing at the same time. It doesn't take away one from the other. On the contrary, it complements one. I like it. Anyway, I like being here. I like having an audience to this film. It is remarkable how it speaks to people. Before I go any further, I'd like to thank the people who made this possible. There were so many. Steven Spielberg gave a lot of money to enable us to do this. Some people generously contributed. Mickey Shapiro is here tonight also. Susan and Moses Libitsky. All of the people who had faith in what we were doing and who helped. I'm grateful to them. Mostly I'm grateful to John Lollos, who was plumbing the depth of his Greek soul to come up with a Jewish film. It wasn't easy.
John, tell us how it was for you to see it with such a...
Well, it's true. I am Greek. I'm not Jewish.
Yasu Pedimu.
Yasu Pedimu. But I got to tell you, that gave me a perspective that I shall never, ever forget. And especially this guy. I've never met a human being like him in my life. Talent notwithstanding, he's an incredible, wonderful human being. And you all rightfully should be proud of him. I certainly am as a filmmaker, and we just had Marsha Levy and I, my co-producer and writer, we had a wonderful 3 years, as I said before, and I hope and I feel that you did enjoy it, and I sincerely appreciate it.
It reminds me, I was on a talk show once, and the host was a little flustered, and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to meet Theodore Bikel. He's not only a wonderful entertainer, but a human being in his own right." Well, I will be interested to know what people collectively and individually think of this film. If you liked it, tell everybody. If you don't, shut up.
I like that advice.
Or in the words of Samuel Goldwyn, Tell us how much you loved it.
So I thought that the way you wove these two people, Theodore Bikel and Sholem Aleichem, was really masterful. And I'm wondering, how did you come to this project?
Well, let me start by saying that Theo's play, Laughter Through Tears, was the original source of all of this. And the two coming together is in Theo's play. And we brought it to television and to film.
It's a play called Laughter Through Tears, and it too did what this film does. When Elie Wiesel came to see the play, his first words afterwards were, if this hasn't been filmed, it should be. And of course you can't put a camera in front of a stage and film a play. It doesn't work that way. A play has a different momentum, it has a different texture. A film has to be told in filmic terms. And so we sort of went back to square one and started to think, how do we do that with this material? We found, obviously, we found a way of presenting this as a film with visuals, with different music. Sholem Aleichem, by the way, loved music a lot, and he also played the piano himself. I found a notice somewhere where Sholem Aleichem is listed as the accompanist of a singer. It's interesting. And Mark Warszawski, who wrote the song "The Miller's Tears," "The Miller's Tränen," as you heard in the movie, was a contemporary of Sholem Aleichem. Sholem Aleichem used to extol his virtues and also published that man's music. Nobody in those days published Jewish music. Anyway, and another thing I want to say about Belle Kaufman. She was 103. An extraordinary woman. I mean, you saw how lucid she was here. Until about, I guess, 3 months ago, she went tango dancing once a week. Until last year, she went twice a week. And she told me the following. She was about 5 years old when her grandfather, Sholem Aleichem, wrote her a note, a letter, saying, "Dear Belichka," says, "I'm writing to you in the hope that you will write back to me." He says, "And as you grow older, you should keep writing and write more and more. But in order to do that, you have to drink a lot of milk." She was only about 5.5 when Sholem Aleichem died. And at one time, Sholem Aleichem said that when the words won't come, it's terrible for a writer, you know? You can't go on writing. And one time it happened, and his little granddaughter, Belichka, came into the room and grabbed his finger and squeezed it hard, and all of a sudden he could write again. Anybody wants to know anything? I mean,
Should we open it up?
this is a Q&A after all.
Let's open it up for a few minutes.
Hello.
My name is Michael Sachs, and one thing that I saw what you did over here on the screen, I disagree with. I don't remember the song exactly, but you yabba babba bum a lot. And you said,
This was Wer wird bleiben, was wird bleiben.
Thank you, exactly that. And I say, artists, they draw pictures, and we can keep them on the wall. Sholem Aleichem and writers write things, and we keep it on the shelf, and hopefully we read it. You, I grew up with you. I'm a little bit younger than you, and I told you so before the show, and I want to tell you that I have a lot of stuff that you produced in my home to this day. And I made sure that my children and my grandchildren listen my stories about you, and I play the records, LPs, and things of that nature. So something, etwas bleibt. Thank you, Theodore Bikel.
Hi, I'm Noah. So I was wondering, you were originally in Tevye the Milkman, and then were with that creative process up until it became Fiddler on the Roof. How much of that transformation were you a part of? Like, in terms of the creative side?
You know, Fiddler on the Roof is a lovely Broadway musical, but in terms of Sholem Aleichem, it is what a good friend of mine called Sholem Aleichem Light, as in Coca-Cola Light. It only shows a very small corner of Tevye's world. What it doesn't show is the tragic aspects of Tevye's life. Tevye had other daughters, and the other daughters had stories to tell. One of them married a rich man who went bankrupt. The other one fell in love with a young man of a rich family, and the family pulled him away. And the daughter was so distraught that she drowned herself. So there is a tragic element to Tevye. It belongs, when you tell about Tevye, all of these things belong together. What we know from Fiddler on the Roof, the only sad parts of Fiddler are the second daughter who marries the revolutionary, but who's still Jewish, and they're going to be married under a chuppah and all that. Daughter, the third daughter, Chava, who marries out of the faith, and that is one place where he has to draw the line, and it nearly kills him. All true, but they're only part of the facets of Tevye. There's more to him, just as there was more, ever more, to Sholem Aleichem and his writing. Tevye's stories were not the only things he wrote. He wrote about Menachem Mendel. He wrote Motel Pace, the cantor's son, and his Odyssey to America. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful books. All the volumes of Sholem Aleichem that my father had, after my father died, I donated them to the book collectors of Yiddish in Amherst, Massachusetts. I sent it from Tel Aviv. I shipped them on a boat. Then when the time came for me to work on the Sholem Aleichem, I got in touch with Aaron Lansky at the center in Massachusetts, and I said, "Dear friend, I need the Sholem Aleichem books." Well, on my shelf again are the collected works of Sholem Aleichem. Not the same set, but the same words.
Excuse me? Hello, and thank you so much for this wonderful production of this film, and for the opportunity to be present at the premiere. I speak with the Russian accent, and I would like to ask the question that may encourage you to speak about something that was not part of this wonderful film. Part of your biography includes being imprisoned for the cause of bringing Russian Jews out of Soviet slavery. Could you tell a little more about that? And I want to thank you for that, because I am here probably thanks to the efforts of yours and people who were working with you. Thank you.
It sounds more terrible than it was. because I was not put in jail in Russia, which would have been terrible. But when I went in Washington, D.C. to the Soviet embassy to protest the treatment of Soviet Jews, there were it's a group of us, 10 of us, 8 men and 2 women, and we asked to be admitted, and we were refused admittance, and then we sang, Let My People Go. You know, we protested. How do you protest? You sing, Let My People Go, Hinei Matov. I sang in Russian, Фараону говорю, отпусти народ мой. To you, Pharaoh, I say, let my people go free. And the DC police came up, and the sergeant said, we have an ordinance, no demonstrations within 500 feet of an embassy, and you are directed to disperse forthwith. They talk that way. And I said, we respectfully decline. I talk that way. And we continued to sing. The sergeant said, in that case, you're now under arrest. And they took us one by one to the paddy wagon to be handcuffed and then fingerprinted and put into cells. And the sergeant came up to me and said, I'm leaving you for last. You got the best voice. I wouldn't mind having that on my gravestone. The runners with the mic.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Back here. So I truly enjoyed the film, but I really wondered, how did your grandmother manage to get the books out of Russia? I mean,
Out of Vienna.
out of Austria, I'm sorry.
Out of Austria. Well, that's a wonderful, thank you for that question. Our permit to leave only covered my father, my mother, and me, the nuclear family. My grandmother had to stay behind, my maternal grandmother, and all our things were put into a warehouse, which was marked property of the enemies of the Third Reich. And in charge was some Nazi Gauleiter who was simply collected Jewish properties and put them into this huge warehouse, later to be disposed of, sold, I don't know what they did with them. My grandmother took it into her head that she wanted to liberate our things, especially our books. And she went to that office every day, from the time they opened the doors until they closed, and she sat in the anteroom and cried. And after about 2.5, 3 weeks, the Gauleiter said to one of his underlings, get that old Jewish woman out of my sight. I'm going to sign off on anything she wants. Just get her out of here. And he signed, and we got all our things shipped from Nazi Germany to Tel Aviv.
Way back here, I don't know if you can see me, but I can put on a key light here. And here we go. Can you see me back here? Way back here, to your left.
Over there, okay.
Hi.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I've been in the entertainment industry probably as long as you have, maybe a few years less, but
Nobody has.
since 1953. Okay, so I wanted to say something that we saw tonight that we don't see very often. The ability of someone to get up in front of us and just thrill us with his talent and with his perseverance and with his absolute beauty that comes out of his mouth and his eyes that gets transmitted to us. Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful gift.
a question in there?
I have a question. Theo, this is a fantastic film. It is wonderful, and I think this is your legacy, and I'm so moved by it. But you know who's asking this question. It's Lily, and do you want to say anything about what is going on now? Because you have led us, Partners for Progressive Israel, in a very difficult time. And if you want to say anything, it's now or never.
You know, I have plenty to say on this topic. In fact, go kill me, but I have plenty to say about just about everything. Whether I'm equipped to do so or whether I'm knowledgeable enough to do so. My heart is full. There is a great deal of agony, and I come here with an uneasy mind because I cannot stand the thought of children dying, any children. On any side of the conflict, whether they are children who have the luxury of being in shelters or who don't have the luxury of being in any kind of shelters. And whether or not we can stop wars, stop violence, stop this attitude toward our world that only sees black and white, friend or enemy, that is incapable of nuance, incapable of seeing any good anywhere except on one's own side. That is impossible. Until my dying breath, I will believe in the peaceful attitude of human beings. And I've said it and I've sung it in every possible way and in every possible language. I'm not naive. I'm not so naive as to think that singing a few innocent songs can avert disaster and global conflagrations. But I also have to tell you, until I see other people making better beginnings, I will continue to sing.
Another question way in the back on your left-hand side.
Hi, last row. Bis 120. And I wanted to know, it seems you're so eloquent in English, and if I follow your biography, it might be the fourth or fifth, I don't know, language that you learned. Home in, what language you might dream in, and where do you how do you think about the numbers of languages that you are clearly most, eloquent in?
It depends whether you ask me on a Monday or a Thursday. People ask me, what language do you dream in? And I found the formula is I dream whatever the people in my dream talk. And sometimes they speak halting English, certainly halting French. Sometimes they talk like this, and other times they don't talk like this. They talk like Jackie Mason. They talk like... Jackie Mason, by the way, once came after a performance of mine and said, I saw your performance, I was amazed. I was amazed that anybody should have the goal and stand up on the stage and be so Jewish as you.
We're going to take just one more question because I think we want to hear someone sing up here.
I don't have much time. And the last question, same area, way in the back on your left-hand side.
Hi, Mr. Bikel. I am in the orange shirt, way back here, on your left. I want to thank you. I think that you should understand from most of us here, you really are an icon and a hero. And my question is, where can my children and my, well, I don't have grandchildren yet, but where can the kids see this film? You are reliving the things that lots of us talk to our children about, but you actually can show them much better than a parent necessarily. So where else will this film be shown? Thank you.
Wherever, I don't know who you know, but just talk it up. The film will be shown wherever we can get it to be shown. Festivals, movie theaters, television stations, synagogues, churches, anywhere. I love it. I love it to be shown. I love it. You know, we performers think that a work of art needs an audience. You know, without an audience, I mean, does a tree fall and you don't hear it falling in the desert? I've never found the answer to that, but I know that if the tree falling has an audience, then
Okay, we bring up, we have your guitar, you brought.
Hoi, holet, Kinderlach, Mann, ihr seid noch jung, weil von Frühling bis zum Winter ist der Katzensprung. Spielt ach, liebe Kinderlach, versäumt den Augenblick, nehmt mich euch herein ins Spiel, vergibt mir eures Glück, nehmt mich euch herein ins Spiel, vergibt mir eures Glück. Hoi, holet, Kinderlach, Mann, ihr seid noch jung, weil von Frühling bis zum Winter ist der Katzensprung. Guckt nicht auf mein Gronkopf, zerstört ich Spiel. Meine Schone ist noch jung, wie zurück mit Jahren viel. Meine Schone ist noch jung, wie zurück mit Jahren viel. Oi, holet, Kinderlach, Mann, ihr seid noch jung. Weit vom Frühling bis zum Winter ist ein Katzensprung. Meine Schone ist noch jung und geht vom Bäckschaft aus, Ah, wie gern will sich hier von alten Guffer aus. Oi, holet, Kinderlach, Mann, ihr seid noch jung. Weil vom Frühling bis zum Winter ist ein Katzensprung. Now, for those who are Yiddish impaired, take no heed of my grey head. Does it disturb your play? My soul is still so very young, much as yesterday. Frolic, play, my little ones, while you are young and gay. Now it's spring, but winter time is but a jump away. My soul is still so very young and yearning to be free, longing to escape the cage of my anatomy. Oi, holet, Kinderlach, Mann, ihr seid noch jung. Weil vom Frühling bis zum Winter ist ein Katzensprung. Oi! Oi, Kinderjorn, süße Kinderjorn. You know, I was in Vienna last November. It was the 75th anniversary of Kristallnacht. And it sort of came full circle because they asked me to come and give a performance at the Parliament, which never had a performance before. And I needed to do that because symbolically it meant that the murderers, the Jew haters, the criminals are gone. And I'm still here singing a song of freedom and peace. Sag nicht keinmal, als du gehst den letzten Weg, hat Schimmeln bleibe, verstellen bläue Tag. Kommen wird noch unser Reus gebänkte Show, es wird der Poik von unser Trott, wir seinen da. Kommen wird noch unser Reus gebänkte Show, es wird der Poik von unser Trott, wir seinen da. Das Lied geschrieben ist mit Blut und nicht mit Blei. Es ist nicht kein Lied von a Poigel oder der Frei. Das hat a volkserischen Fall nicht gewinnt. Das Lied gesungen mit Naganes in die Hände. Das hat a volkserischen Fall nicht gewinnt. Das Lied gesungen mit Naganes in die Hände. Never say that you have walked your final way. Though leaden skies obscure the light of day, the hour we long for will suddenly appear, and our steps will proclaim we are still here. The hour we long for will suddenly appear, and our steps will proclaim we are still here. Sag nicht keinmal, als du gehst den letzten Weg, hat Schimmeln bleibe, verstell neue Tag. Kommen wird noch unser Reus gebänkte Show, es wird abbeugt von unser Trott, wir seien da. I will come back another time and do a full concert. We have another film coming here. So, I want to just finish with one song that is in English, and it speaks of, well, two brothers on their way, two brothers on their way, two brothers on their way, one wore blue and one wore gray. One wore blue and one wore gray. As they marched along their way, the fife and the drum began to play. All on that beautiful morning, one was gentle, one was kind, one was gentle, one was kind. One came back, one stayed behind. A cannonball don't pay no mind. Cannonball don't pay no mind. If you're gentle, if you're kind, It don't care for the folks behind or for a beautiful morning. Two girls waiting at the railroad track. Two girls waiting at the railroad track. Two girls waiting at the railroad track. One wore blue and one wore black. One wore blue and one wore black. Waiting there at the railroad track for their darlings to come back. All on that beautiful morning.